Hey everybody, welcome back to another collab video. I know it's been a couple of days. I have a good explanation for it, and I'm going to say it right off the top, just so everyone is aware of what's going to be happening for the next few days in regards to this channel. Um, tomorrow being the 19th, this will be posted on the 18th. I am due for surgery, and I am going to be out of commission for the next couple of days. I'll be having some oral surgery done, getting my wisdom teeth out, all four of them, and I'm going to be out of commission for a couple of days. So I'll be sitting here on my bed for recovery for the next, I would say, like 3 or 4 days. Um, and a week or so is probably going to be needed for myself to be able to talk as much. So yeah, so just giving you guys a heads up as to what's going on, and also just been busy with life in general. So if you've just been noticing the lack of videos lately, that's also due why. So, but that doesn't mean I'm stopping doing these videos. I'm definitely going to keep doing them. I'm telling you as an update that I am due for surgery. So yeah, so some stuff's gonna be on hold for a little bit. So, but besides all that, let's get into the topics for today, because there's a lot of stuff, and also the reason why I was waiting for today, so because there's a certain trailer that came out today, which we will talk about in a little bit. But let's get into the first topic for today, which is we have a couple of trailers, and we're going to talk about the Snyder Cut first. We're going to talk about the new trailer for the Snyder Cut, which is due to be released on March 18th, 2021 on HBO Max and in theaters, but we all know we're going to HBO Max to see this film. So I thought the trailer was okay the first time I watched it, and then the more I watch it, the more I enjoy it. The more I'm beginning to get myself interested for the film. I'm liking the epic scope that this film is presenting, as Zack Snyder always does with his visuals. And I am still 50-50 on how I feel about a 4-hour feature versus a mini-series. I don't think a 4-hour feature I don't think that they'll be able to earn that runtime, so I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about that, and if that will work. I did not like Jared Leto's look in the trailer. It just didn't work for me. It looked I know they're looking for this apocalyptic, kind of just Fury Road type look, and I don't really dig it. It just didn't really match the tone or match the environment, in my opinion. Just looks kind of off to me. But Jared Leto himself, I'm excited to see portray the Joker again. I'm not sure how much in the film, probably a very small role, but still excited nonetheless to see him back as Joker, because I think that he deserved a better shot at the Joker role, so I'm excited to see that he's getting that chance to do that in Justice League. I also liked some of the like the one thing that my friend and I talked about, which we were both a little bit off-putted about, was the aspect ratio. Is that for the trailer, or is that for the movie? Are they actually doing the 4:3 aspect ratio for the film, or is that just for marketing? Because if it's for marketing, that's fine, but that's still weird nonetheless. But if that's for the film, I I hope that's not the case, because I think this film deserves to be in 16:9, not 4:3 aspect ratio. Um, but if it is, that's a little weird that's a weird technical choice, but whatever. Um, but nonetheless, though, I'm getting more excited to see the film. At first, I was like, I don't know, but now seeing this new trailer and just hearing a little bit more buzz about it, and seeing images of certain things, I'm getting a little excited for it. It's just that the 4-hour feature length time, I'm not sure if that's going to work for this film. I think that a miniseries might have been a better benefit for this piece, but who knows? We'll see. But those are my thoughts on the Snyder Cut trailer. Now, the second topic, which I alluded to, the trailer that I was waiting to drop today so that I can get this collab video out, was the Mortal Kombat trailer. We've actually been waiting for quite a while for a Mortal Kombat trailer. The movie comes out on April 16th on HBO Max, and we've been wondering when are they going to put out a trailer. Well, they now finally put out a trailer about 2 months before the film comes out, so I'm not sure what that means for the film. But I can tell you that from the trailer itself, it didn't really get me. I have to be honest, it didn't really get me. It was a very sloppy second half of a trailer. I thought the vibe just didn't really grab me. I think that also the thing that Mortal Kombat should have in terms of pull is its violence. It doesn't look as violent as I want it to be. I want this to be gory and not CGI gory where I'm not impacted at all. Um, I want this to be. I wish they utilized a lot more practical elements. I know it's the era of CGI, so I know that they're not going to use that. But the tone just wasn't something that I was vibing with. The atmosphere just seems more cheesy. I know that the original films were like that as well, but um, I I'm a little underwhelmed. I'm a little underwhelmed, and I feel like that they didn't put out a trailer probably because, and I'm just speculating here. They're probably not as proud of this film. WB is. They probably, because if they were, they would be putting out trailers, or if they see the appeal for this film. I mean, maybe not disappointed, but maybe they don't see the appeal factor for mainstream audiences. Putting a trailer out, months in advance versus the Snyder Cut, which has had trailers out for months on end, which has had trailers and marketing all that stuff. And I think that they anticipate that film to make more money versus Mortal Kombat. That's probably why Mortal Kombat didn't have a trailer out months out, because they probably just were not anticipating the film to, make as much money. And maybe they're right, maybe they'll be wrong, who knows. Um, but in terms of a trailer, it looks okay. I mean, at best, it looks okay. I'm not that stoked for it. I mean, I was eager to see how the violence was going to be utilized in the trailer and utilized in the film itself, but just from the trailer, I am not digging how they're using it. It looks a lot more safe, and I wasn't I just wasn't impacted by the trailer. I mean, that's just really my honest thoughts on it. Just wasn't really impacted by the trailer, and at best, it's an okay trailer. If you're a Mortal Kombat fan, and you know a lot about Mortal Kombat, you obviously are going to love this trailer just because of all the characters and all the weapons that they're using, the way they're utilizing certain moves. But for me, I just wasn't that impacted by it. I just found it to be very, very average at best. So, not really that stoked for Mortal Kombat, but I am still looking forward to it. Just the trailer didn't do me any wonders in terms of my anticipation level. So, however, the next trailer that I want to talk about really did change my opinion on it, and I'm actually now looking forward to it quite a bit, and that would be the Cruella trailer, starring Emma Stone, Emma Thompson, and Mark Strong, directed by Craig Gillespie, who directed I, Tonya, starring Margot Robbie. It also has a release date of May 28th this year in theaters, not going to Disney+. Um, the trailer looks very promising. Structurally, yes. I mean, everyone said it online, and I'm going to echo that same sentiment. It does remind me structurally of Joker, but tonally speaking, it's in the mouse's wheelhouse. It's not darker by any sense of the imagination. It's definitely moodier, but I wouldn't say this is a darker tale. Joker's a lot more darker than this. So I think the comparisons, tonally speaking, online are kind of ludicrous. I think that structurally speaking, in terms of an overall narrative, it does remind me of Joker, but tonally speaking, this is not a darker tale. This is not in the same vein as Joker. Joker's a lot more darker than what Cruella is looking to present to us. And in terms of Emma Stone as Cruella, I am really digging her accent, and I think that in general, she looks like to be having such a fun time with this role. You can tell that she is just having a blast with it. She doesn't look like she's, how should I say it? She doesn't look like she's just playing another part. She looks like she's completely invested into this character, and I'm really stoked to see what she can bring to it. And I really liked that shot that everyone's talking about, where the flames like engulf her white dress, and it's just because she basically transforms in a way. I really like that. And I'm digging the vibe from the trailer, and I'm just really won over. I mean, I was not that excited for Cruella, but now seeing this trailer, if that is the tone of the film, I'll be interested, and hopefully it does not Because I had the same thoughts about with the Joker trailer. I wasn't really that excited for Joker, and then the trailer came out, and I was really stoked and really excited to see Joker. Saw the film, I was kind of disappointed. So hopefully Cruella is not going to follow in that same pattern. Hopefully Cruella sticks the landing. But in terms of a trailer, very, very promising. Very, very promising indeed. Um, so that is my thoughts on all three of those trailers, the Snyder Cut, the Mortal Kombat, and Cruella. Now, let's get into a little bit of something that I heard yesterday, which is involving Martin Scorsese. Of course, Martin Scorsese is on the Mount Rushmore of filmmakers. He's one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. My 4 favorite filmmakers of all time, if I were to name them, would be Kurosawa, Spielberg, Scorsese, and Kubrick. Those are my 4. Those, I think, are the Mount Rushmore of filmmakers. Well, he had a couple of things to say in regards to Martin Scorsese. He had a couple of things to say in regards to streaming services. And I got all this from the IndieWire, so I'm about to be reading a lot, so just bear with me. So I'm going to be reading a bunch of things that he said, and then I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on what he is really saying. So let's start. So, quote, again, all coming from the IndieWire. So, quote, as recently as 15 years ago, the term content was heard only when people were discussing the cinema on a serious level, and it was contrasted with and measured against form, Scorsese writes. Then gradually, it was used more and more by the people who took over media companies, most of whom knew nothing about the history of the art form, or even cared enough to think that they should. Content became a business term for all moving images: a David Lean movie, a cat video, a Super Bowl commercial, a superhero sequel, a series episode. It was linked, of course, not to the theatrical experience, but to home viewing on the streaming platforms that have come to overtake the movie-going experience, just as Amazon overtook physical stores. If further viewing is suggested by algorithms based on what we've already seen, and the suggestions are based only on subject matter or genre, then what does that do to the art of cinema? Curating isn't undemocratic or elitist, a term that is now used so often that it's become meaningless. It's an act of generosity. You're sharing what you love and what has inspired you. The best streaming platforms such as the Criterion Channel or Mubi and traditional outlets such as TCM are based on curating. They're actually curated. Algorithms, by definition, are based on calculations that treat the viewer as a consumer and nothing else. The cinema and the importance it holds in our culture has changed, and that cinephiles can't depend on the movie business such as it is to take care of cinema. In the movie business, which is now the mass visual entertainment business, the emphasis is always on the word business, and value is always determined by the amount of money to be made from any given property. In that sense, everything from Sunrise to La Strada to 2001 is now pretty much run dry and ready for the art film swim line on a streaming platform. Those of us who know the cinema and its history have to share our love and our knowledge with as many people as possible, and we have to make it crystal clear to the current legal owners of these films that they amount to much, much more than mere property to be exploited and locked away. They are among the greatest treasures of our culture, and they must be treated accordingly. I suppose we also have to refine our notions of what cinema is and what it isn't. Federico Fellini is a good place to start. You can say a lot of things about Fellini's movies, but here's one thing that is incontestable. They are cinema. Fellini's work goes a long way toward defining the art form. So, that was a mouthful to read. I will say this, just to make it short and sweet. He's right. I mean, he's right. Everything that he is saying is right. I mean, he's absolutely right in what he is saying. But here's my thing about all of this. What the hell does he expect from a corporation? They're looking to make money, not art. Okay? They hire you to make the art. Okay? So that's my first thing. Also, there really is no devaluement of naming something differently. I mean, it means the same thing. It's a movie. Okay? That's what they're saying by definition if you're talking about a film. Yes, they label it as a piece of content, but just because they label it a certain way does not devalue that piece. It just puts it in a certain category, or in a certain library of entertainment, pieces, it's still a movie. So I don't understand that logic, but and it's hilarious that he would have any issue with streaming or content. Um, I'm really looking forward to seeing his next film on Apple TV Plus. Um, and I would understand this if The Irishman was released in theaters, but it didn't. Why? Because no studio wanted to put up the money. And there's a reason why Apple bought Marty's next film, because The Irishman flopped hard on Netflix. Because people have to remember there's 3 things that you have to do when you're heading into a pitch meeting of any kind to a studio. You got to hit 3 things. What's it about? How much do you need? And is it appealable? Because don't think otherwise. The Irishman has a great story, and it has there's market value to it. I mean, come on, Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, and Joe Pesci. Any studio would want that. Here's why they didn't go forth with that, because they were not willing to put up the money that Scorsese was asking for. He wanted over $200 million for that movie and for his next project. And all the big studio heads said, no, we're not putting up that money. Unless you're a superhero film, then we're going to do that, because Marty has to just face the facts. Superhero films are the only thing that can give you that type of budget right now, okay? Or if you go into a horror film, because I've always said this to my friend, there's 2 types of films that are always guaranteed to win over somebody, either a superhero film or a horror film. If you pitch something like that, a superhero film, and it has a lot of market value to it, they will give you the budget. And if you give them a horror film and that thing is low ass budget, they will then play ball with you. If you throw them anything else at them, a drama or something original, they're not going to play like that. They're just not. They're going to walk away. That's why The Irishman just didn't work with any of the big studio heads, and that's why Netflix took it, because Netflix is just going everywhere. I mean, we just talked about not too long ago, though, them looking to get Godzilla vs. Kong, and then Warner Media blocked the deal. So Netflix is just shopping everywhere. They're looking to get their hands on anything. So they got The Irishman, and, well, even though it got them a lot of great reception, it flopped hard on Netflix. It didn't make them a lot of money. So therefore, Netflix didn't want to play ball with Scorsese's next work, because Scorsese was asking for the same type of budget that The Irishman was. And The Irishman flopped hard, so Netflix said, no, man, we're not going to work with you anymore. So of course, the same history has repeated itself, because Scorsese shopped all around for his next project, Killers of the Flower Moon. Netflix said, no, we're not doing that. Then all the big studio heads said no. And then, lo and behold, a streaming service comes out of nowhere, Apple TV Plus, to then take that project under their wing. So it's funny how everything repeats itself. We first start with The Irishman, talk to big studio people, then a streaming service, and then takes The Irishman, and then Killers of the Flower Moon, talks to a bunch of studio heads again, doesn't get it, and then gets swallowed by another streaming service. It's just funny how that same pattern has repeated itself. Because it's just basically no studio wanted to finance that or his next project, because his asks are too high. Okay? This is going to sound a bit pretentious, but honestly, it's the truth. Scorsese nowadays, he's not a Spielberg, okay? And I mean that not in quality's sake. I mean that in terms of market value, because there's 2 directors right now that have that pull and will get people to watch their films. That's Steven Spielberg and Christopher Nolan. No matter what film they're making, you're guaranteed a great pull, because those 2 names sell, okay? And Martin Scorsese is not that type of filmmaker. He's not. He's not the type of guy who's going to get pulled just based on his name. I mean, even though he has had some success in the past with his recent films like Wolf of Wall Street, his success does not amount to a Spielberg or a Nolan. And the studios recognize that. So they're not just saying, you're not saying like, oh, we don't love your work. We're saying you're not having as big of a pull as these guys over here. And you're asking us for how much? Yeah, you're not going to get that from us. Unless you're someone like a Spielberg or a Nolan, then yeah, we'll give you a $200 million budget to play with, because you've proven time and time again that you are a valuable asset to us. So I get it. So I just think, just basically to sum it all up, I think he's a little butthurt that studios aren't wanting to finance his movies, and I think it honestly it all amounts to a simple change, which is don't ask for so much money. Challenge yourself with budgetary restrictions. That's what made his films, that's what makes him one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. He challenged himself by having those restrictions with Taxi Driver, Goodfellas, Mean Streets, like all these amazing, amazing movies are all budgetary restrained. They don't have huge budgets and all that stuff. And also, yeah, because the stars in it were also not um, huge at those times. But even then, today, you could still do like The Irishman. Honestly, like if you went on a different angle with it, and you focus squarely on just them as how they are, not doing the de-aging technology, you could have scrapped like a whole bunch of money off that and probably made maybe like an $80 million project, which is a lot more attainable for studios to go, okay, we can play ball with that, versus a $200+ million project. And again, coming from a guy who has not given them um, loads of money versus a Spielberg or a Nolan. So I get it. I totally get it. And I also get why he's a little butthurt. I mean, I understand that the theatrical experience is where it's at. You want to show your film in a theater. That's every filmmaker's dream. But if your asks are too high, they're not going to play a ball. So I think he's a little butthurt, and I think that he's just kind of using what he's saying is right. But if you really know the guy really well, he's honestly just a little butthurt. I think that's really why he's putting out the statement, because he's just not getting the pull as he used to. So that's just me. But maybe you guys have a different opinion on it. But let's get into our last topic for today, and then I'm gonna start doing some stuff around the house because I gotta get ready for tomorrow for my surgery, which is Paddington 3 is happening. I'm very happy about this. This was the news that made me go, yay, this week. Paddington 3 is officially in active development. This is a film that's been in development for a while, or at least was in the works for a while, so now they're actively in development. Paul King, who directed the first two films, unfortunately will not be back to return to helm this film. He's still involved in some capacity because I believe he'll be a producer on it. He is right now helming the Willy Wonka film for Warner Brothers, the prequel film. So that's why he's left directing duties for Paddington 3. There's no official confirmation of who's directing Paddington 3, but I really liked the first two Paddington films. More or less Paddington 2. I saw that in the theater. I was very charmed by it. So I'm very excited to hear that they're doing a Paddington 3. And I hope that they get the original voice actor back and all these other actors. And I just really am happy because I really like this franchise. It's a very charming, kid-friendly franchise that is appealable to both adults and kids. So I'm really happy to see that they're moving forward with Paddington 3. I'm not sure what the holdup was for so long. Maybe it was because of the Paul King thing that they were wondering if Paul King maybe had some time to come in and do Paddington 3 and work his schedule out accordingly. Guess talks fell through. But still, I'm excited to see a Paddington 3. And I'm definitely happy to see that they're moving forward with a third film in this franchise. So, and I'm glad that they didn't also just keep doing them over and over and over again. I'm glad that they actually are taking their time to do a third one. They're not just pumping out Paddington films all the time. This is the third one. They're going to take care of it hopefully and do it properly. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm down for a Paddington 3. So. I guess we can do one more. Yeah, we'll do one more. We'll do one more before I go. Let's do something involving Disney, which is this. Apparently, according to Variety, Disney still has plans to release Black Widow in theaters for now. They are, however, flexible with the release date. According to Variety, quote, we're going to be watching very carefully the reopening of theaters and consumer sentiment on going back to theaters. It also goes on to say, I'm not sure in that article, but in other outlets, that Kevin Feige is very much set on a theatrical release for Black Widow. He does not want a streaming release for this. I still believe this will be a hybrid release. I think that it's inevitable that it'll be a hybrid release. And I think that honestly, at this point, I think it would be a benefit for the film. If they change their stupid rules of premiere access, I think that this would be a lot more appealable. But I'm not sure at this point if a theatrical run only will benefit Black Widow. But if they're holding strong, more power to them. But I just don't think that it's going to suffice. I don't think that they're going to be able to hold that for so long. I do still believe this will be a hybrid release, and you know, I just think that the reason why they're being flexible, I think that they're also keeping that option open for a streaming release. That's probably what they probably mean by flexible, is that, well, we really, 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 really want a theatrical run, but we're not blind to the possibility of streaming. Maybe that's what they mean. But Kevin Feige apparently does not want streaming at all. But if it has to happen, it has to happen. You got to think about the company first, and your finance and the money. And if a hybrid release is the better option at this point, which in my opinion it is, got to move forward with it. And again, if you market it correctly under the Premier Access spectrum and lower that damn price on Premier Access, then I think that you will get the pull that Mulan didn't get, and that what Raya and the Last Dragon will probably not get. So that's just me, but we'll see what they do in the next few months. But that is pretty much it for today, guys. I talked about the recent trailers that popped, Martin Scorsese's comments, and of course Paddington 3 and Black Widow. So let me know your guys' thoughts on all of these topics. And again, I will be out of commission for the next few days. I will be resting here in my room after surgery. So hopefully you guys will be cool with this video being here for the next few days. So I'll try to do another movie review of some kind after I've recovered from my surgery. And that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And be safe, be protected, wash your hands, social distancing, and hopefully we'll get through all this together. And wish me good luck on my surgery. It's my first surgery, actually. I've never had an operation before in any capacity. So a little nervous, but not overly worried. So, but yep, that's it for this video, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye.